Yeah, let's see. We have like maybe 15 minutes left, but we'll try to get through a lot of stuff. One thing I do want to touch on for sure is the collaborative nature of games. Is you know, you can't make a game on your own, and as you said, like in indie games, a lot of people wear a lot of hats. So games are very collaborative, and you know, for example, in Skullgirls, you guys became a very tightly knit group. And you know, James, I know makes games with you know, a group of friends, and
I'll just hold it. You talk with your hands.
Yeah, good job. And you know, and Derek. Actually, we can start with that. Derek, can you talk a bit about TIGSource and like that community that's kind of fostered around collaborating to make games?
Still yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the resources that is definitely very helpful to have when you're a small developer, is a community that you can hang out with and share ideas with, because I think that is something that people would miss, like working the way I do, for example, where I'm literally in my bedroom working on games, that's it, and sleeping.
You don't sleep, you liar.
I do get a lot of sleep. I try to always sleep.
I'm jealous.
That's the thing I try not to give up, because I'm just useless for that 8 hours. But for me, like that's a way of working that really suits me. Because I'm pretty introverted, and I like to I'm comfortable just working at home. But you do miss out on I think working in a quote-unquote regular company, the kind of just interaction and that constant sort of sharing of ideas. But I think having an online community to talk to is very helpful. So the TIGSource is a website that I run called it's short for the Independent Gaming Source. And it started out as just a news site, but now we've got the forums are really more of like the main part of the site now. And you just, you have people just working on games and showing stuff off and meeting other people to do collaborations. And there's just it's really just a lot of sharing, which I think is very important in any kind of creative field. And of course, you want to spend most of your time doing that with your team. On Splunk, I work with one other guy, lead programmer Andy Hull. He's on Google Chat, video chat, like all day with me, and we're just chatting. But I think TIGSource, game jam, stuff like that. Like you're talking about this jam, that type of stuff is just a great way to sort of get out there and meet other people who are doing the same thing you are.
Actually, I think this is especially relevant because of the people that are joining me up here. I think the community for smaller studios is so tightly knit, and there's just all these talent and knowledge pools to... That's irrelevant. Okay. There's all these like talent and knowledge pools to learn from, and I always call awesome. I always call the Skullgirls team like my extended Way Forward family, because like we always like work on projects together. Like Mariel, you mentioned you've done stuff for Way Forward, and Alex, and I mean you're all on the radar, like seriously. But like I think that's one of the really excellent things about the smaller communities. Like everyone seems to kind of like know each other, and if you don't know each other, it's not too difficult to connect, and everyone has something they can contribute and you can learn from. And I just think that's a really wonderful thing that you're not going to see at like a big studio that's just hiring, contracting people, just like bringing people on and you're working with the same people always, versus like you contract people and work with all different people, and also like working with friends who are there to like give you advice and help you like stay in control of like the scope of the game, and like make sure you're not being like ridiculous. Actually, show of hands, like or that you're being like sufficiently ridiculous in the right way. Question: Who uses mouthwash? Like raise your hand. Like mouthwash, right, guys, gentlemen? Yeah. Okay. Here's what you got to do. Like if you want to be like super cool indie, you go to like Walgreens or like Rite Aid, like wherever you like to go. And you get like the travel size scope mouthwash, okay? And what you do is you put that on your desk. And the reason you do this is because like every time you look at it, it's a reminder that you have to keep the scope small. It works, I swear to God. Also, you should probably use it. You know.
I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that. I wanted to say, I can't see you, so.
Oh, hi, but
Hi.
go ahead.
I wanted to say really quickly that one of the other nice things about having a community is that you can talk to them, and especially as an indie developer, you can show them things like builds that aren't done yet. We got to take Skullgirls I got to take Skullgirls to like every tournament that I went to before the game came out. I got feedback from people. We had people on Shoryuken and Dustloop posting suggestions for like, I've always wanted to see this in a fighting game. Maybe want to try it out, and like things like holding down the pause button for a couple of frames to pause it so that you don't accidentally pause it in the middle of a tournament came from one of the people on Shoryuken like suggesting it. And at bigger companies, you never get any of that. I mean, the community exists for the small amount of time right after the game comes out to make sure that people bought it, and then that's it. You know, or if you like release a PC version and there are mod tools, then the community exists for the purposes of making sure that the mod tools won't blow up anyone's computer. But like to the development team, for the most part, there is no community when you're really big, and that was one of the really nice things about working on a project this size, was like being able to get feedback from everybody and actually do something about it and show them things that at big companies they'd be like, no, you don't want people to see the hitboxes, it's debugged, that doesn't happen. So go ahead.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Sick. I'm very sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Word.
I can rewind that whole thing.
Yeah, on that note, I should mention Spelunky actually got its start on the TIGSource forums. And when I released it, it was like version 0.8, and it really snowballed from there with people giving me feedback. Yeah, the feedback was like invaluable, and I made a lot of changes to the game between the first release and 1.0. And it was not just the TIGSource forums, but like the Something Awful forums and Penny Arcade. I think without those communities, I don't think the XBLA version of Spelunky ever would have gotten done, because the reason why it got made in the first place was because someone took it to Microsoft. Jonathan Blow, the guy who made Braid, took it to Microsoft, and I was able to show them like, hey, all these people really like the game, because and all of that buzz was just created from these forums. And not only that, but Minecraft, which is a much bigger example than Spelunky, got its start on the TIGSource forums and on the IRC channel. I think that was the first place that Notch put the game out, was on the TIGSource forums, and it's actually really funny because that thread is still there. And you read some of the comments, and it's people saying like, hey, this is pretty fun. Like, if you keep at it, it could really be something big someday. And just, I don't know, it's a pretty fun, like, historical thread, I think, at this point. But, we also have competitions on the forums, and a lot of those, it's like a short deadline. It's like a month long, but a lot of those games, people polish them up after the competition, and they turned into real products that ended up being pretty successful. So yeah, I think it's definitely been good for people.